Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a great week. We are past pump day, which is very good. I want to thank you all for being with me again on my third day of the series. This is the last day for this week. And then one of my friends had to remind me that next week was Thanksgiving. I have no sense of time. I even I don't know. For some, Thanksgiving always gets me because it feels like we don't. It's we need. I need another week before Thanksgiving for some reason. So, but thank you all for joining me. I will post. I have about three more videos to go, and so I'll do three more next week. Kind of alter the schedule. But thank you for joining me for this special series on Black, Brown, and Beyond Exhausted, where I break down burnout, and it's something we don't talk about in our communities. And I wanted to bring attention to that. So that is why we have this series. So thank you for watching me on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. It's been quite quite a task for me because I don't like going live or on social media, but we're gonna get this thing done. So um, thank you all. Today's topic, we're talking about why we burn out. First topic, I shared my story about burnout. Second topic, second day, I shared a day in the life to see if it mirrors your day. And then today we're talking about the root of it. And so the whole reason that I started Gracefully Productive was because in the coaching industry and productivity industry, all I saw was white males giving time management advice. Wake up at 6, wake up at 5, take a cold shower, go to the gym, meditate, plan your day, eat a balanced breakfast, and then do 4 hours of deep. Like it was very boom, boom, boom. And just in my life, but I also know others' lives and minorities' lives, our lives don't quite work like that, right? Um, we just have stuff that we have to do, whether it's caring for family or we just don't have that simple streamlined life or even think about having that simple streamline. And so that's why I became a productivity leadership coach, just to add to the perspective and voices and to make sure we have strategies that work for us. It could be the same strategies, but I think our thoughts and how we approach these strategies and how to change our mindset behind these strategies are different, which is why I'm talking about why we're burning out. Self-care is another topic that is very doesn't really fit what we're doing. We can't, where we are in our lives as Black and Brown professionals and leaders, self care isn't one of those things that just isn't about bubble baths, right? Bubble baths, massages, you hear that. Take some time for yourself. Have a hot tea and deep breathe. Those are great, but how do we get to that point? How do we even make time for tea? When do we even think about making tea when when people are getting on our nerves and we don't have all the energy we have is to sit and scroll because it's mindless, or we don't even have time to. We're breathing because we're mad, right? We're frustrated, but um, we're not thinking about stopping and breathing for four. That has been a practice of mine, but it's taken me a long time to get there. Like we are running at a pace in our day where we're not even thinking about why am I feeling this way? Let's take 5 minutes to breathe. We don't even think we have 5 minutes to breathe, let alone drink water, meditate, fix some hot tea, color. All these other little strategies are minor. If we can get our lives and our thoughts and our mindset to the point where we're thinking about these coping strategies in order for us to de-stress, that's like phase three. We're on phase two. Phase one is awareness, recognizing that we are burning ourselves out and we are overstressed and overworked. Phase two is figuring out why. Phase three is all those other small strategies of making time for ourselves. But I'm here to talk about why, which is phase two. So why are we having these symptoms? Why can't we just go get a massage? One, because we really, our budgets may not match that. Our priorities may not match it. And two, we may not have time. And three, we got other stuff to worry about sometimes in getting massages. It's even hard for me to just say, hey, Aaron, schedule a massage, right? Because I'm still working my way out of pre-programming and say, hey, you got to stop and do something for you. It's not all about work. You do have an hour, drive across town. It will make you better, help you think more, just get away, right? That is the fight I'm currently in always, is doing something for myself. Um, I'm not all the way there, but I'm definitely in a better place than where I used to be, right? And so I have three reasons why we are burning ourselves out or we are being burnt out, right? And so the first one is alignment. We are out of alignment. And it's not necessarily our fault. If you read my book, Live Riser, the Ultimate Guide to Adulting, I talk about how our career development class and those career development, what are all the things we got in high school and college really led us wrong, right? We, they taught us, hey, do a major. This major makes more money. You're gonna, once you get in your major and you do good and you graduate, everything's gonna be great, right? So, and even our culture has said, hey, that don't make no money. Why don't you do nursing? Why don't you do engineering? What is that? I don't know about that. That's gonna make you money. It was all about money instead of helping us through what is it that I want my life to look like. And so through coaching and talking to college students and even talking to my own friends and colleagues, we find ourselves in these majors and these jobs that don't quite align to what we really want. Just for an example, if I really thought I wanted to be a bioscientist and cure AIDS and cure cancer. I love reading about that stuff, but in real life, it led to me, and my friend Dominique pointed out. She was like, "Yeah, I remember I used to go and sit in the lab with you because you didn't even think about being on campus by yourself at night." I was like, I didn't. She was like, those buildings were huge and they were dark. You didn't think anything, but I didn't because I had to get through it. But then when I realized, oh wait, this is gonna be my life. I, I don't want to work. These people are weird. I know it might be one of the weird ones too. These people are not my cup of tea. Like I didn't quite find my community, my footing. I was like, is this how it's gonna be all? I was like, don't want to do it. So I knew I had to make a choice. But some of us, we made it work, right? We did what we had to do. But because we weren't aligned in the first place, which is my when I talk to college students, I talk about like preventing burnout. I talk about alignment. So figure out what's your values. Do you even believe in what you're doing? Are you going to work for a company that has opposite values of you? Those things are burning us out. When I was working in a place where it was just moral and ethical dilemmas left and right, it was just like, why can't we just do right? That was burning me out because it was something I was seeing that was getting to me, but I knew that was a personal value of mine that was totally being ignored in a place. And so I couldn't continue working there because I was emotionally burnt out trying to do what's right, but nobody else could see it, right? If your values is to stay close to home and have a family, or you want to live in a small city, where does your industries? Well, now all work from home, but even that is if you want to work from home and have your priorities, your family want to be present all the time, you want to do all these things, is this industry or your job aligned to the life that you want? And so, because we probably did not get the training and development advice in order for our careers to be aligned to who we are and not chase the money, we are out of alignment. And so, if we don't have alignment, we cannot have work-life harmony because there's no such thing as balance. It's harmony. How does it all work together, right? And so, what do we align? We must align our strengths, right? So, or where are you strong at? Do you even know what your strengths are? And can you find a job or a career or a position that helps align your strengths? So for me, when in my early career, I was fortunate to have a boss to say, "Hey, Aaron, you're good at this," and I would be able to I still didn't like social media, but looking back, I started our first Twitter feed for our office, and I had a knack for marketing. It wasn't my strength, but I was able to do it until we were able to hire a marketing person. She realized that I was very great at organizing and training and working with the next generation. So I was allowed to be a tutor training, and that was things that I really liked. And so I was able to stay there even though it had some parts that I did not like. And so in that way, that I stayed there because I did have big pieces, big chunks of things that aligned to me personally. That's why I stayed so long. Are we aligned to our needs? What do we need? I know now that I need a boss that I could trust, a boss that would literally, when I took my first big girl job, I stayed on the phone for like two straight hour-long sessions of saying, this is what I need. I need to be innovative. I need to be allowed to fail without feeling that my job is always on the line. I need to have resources. I need I even said, hey, I don't want to work on grants. I need some institutional commitment for the things that we're doing. I need this, and this. I need autonomy. I need some space to do it my way. You might see me working late one day, but I need the autonomy to like to rest and recoup and maybe come in at 10. I need some flexibility. And so once I stepped back and I said, this is what I need. And they said, okay, that's no problem. I get it. I understand how you're gonna work. You just show me the results. Hey, it was fun. After the opportunity, I said, okay, I need a boss that, wasn't a micromanager. I needed a culture that we all worked together and collaborated. Nobody was competing, and we were all focused on the students. And I still needed all the things there, but I kept adding on and adding on to the point where I was like, no, this isn't gonna work because I know I'll be frustrated. Definitely not for this amount of money. Definitely not this place because it's too far. I really dove deep into the job search, right? And so our purpose and our mission must align. Are you doing the work? No matter if you're in accounting or engineering or whatever, there's ways for you to actually do what you're trained to do and still be aligned to your purpose. So if you're an accountant and you want to help people and you want to be on the ground of serving the community, your accounting skills maybe need to take into the nonprofit world or helping nonprofit leaders versus you helping corporate accounting if that's not aligned to your purpose or your values, right? So you still have time, no matter if you're mid-career, you still have time to realign yourself. And once you align yourself, you're going to be able to find that harmony that you need. So the second reason why we're burning out, the first reason that we aren't aligned, the second reason that we are burning ourselves out or that we are burnout or we're beyond exhausted, which is that deep exhaustion that definitely massages or bubble baths can't do, is that emotional fatigue, is that we bought into the American dream. And I cannot put this any plainer or clearer than Tiana Clark. She did an excellent article probably 5 years ago before I was even interested in really diving deep into this. But this article like really speaks to my soul. I go and pull it and read it, and I can't even like summarize it. So here's a quote from her article. She said, another question I'm afraid to ask myself: am I burned out because I still subconsciously want the American dream to be true, despite the odds stacked against my skin color? Do I want to be the exceptional Black person who actually makes it out of my circumstances? Or am I wanting something I will never, ever be? A rich white man, seemingly carefree, with a sizable Roth IRA, unafraid to walk to his car at night without his keys, Wolverines in his hands. That was from Tiana Clark from her article of being Black, millennial, and burned out, right? And so that quote really sticks to me. I was in a conference and we were talking about generational wealth and what we need to do and things. And the panel ended with one question that just left everybody silent. They're like, to what end? What are we doing this for? And so we have to shift. Like most of white Americans can't even attain the American dream anymore. And so for this, we need to figure out what is our own criteria for success. What is our own criteria for a good life? It may not look like what everybody says you need. One example that I always point out again in my book, Live Wiser, was that everybody says go to college, get a job with benefits, retire, get a retirement. Once you have a full time job, go and buy your house. And then I did that. I love my house. I'm grateful for it. In it now, come back to it. It's there when I need it. I left and I came back and it's still here. I'm grateful, but that didn't really align with the life that I wanted. Right? It didn't align. If someone would have said, "Hey, you don't have to do this if especially if you're interested in investing, maybe buy save and invest and then figure out a way to buy a house when you're ready to actually settle down and be a homeowner." Like that kind of like society standards of what you should do, we're measuring ourselves and it's not even relatable or achievable even in this time. So what are we going to do? Are we going to be sad that we can't fit into that mold, or we're going to actually make a life that we want and figuring out what's our dream, not the American dream, what's Aaron's dream and how does that look? And once we're at peace with that, we're going to be able to conserve our energy and not try to fit in a mold where we're not supposed to be. um Part two of that American dream is that most of the burnout literature is from America. People burn out globally for different reasons, but America really inspired capitalism in a way that inspired the whole globe. But burnout literature really it dates back to the 1800s, and it has terms like the American nervousness, the American hustle culture. Like that really blew my mind when I was researching this. So this isn't new. This is the American way of life. And when you look at that, we are a developed country. All of our numbers are not that great compared to other countries. Other quality of life signs and indicators are way better in other countries, and that has to say something. That has to mean something. The other part, again, that hustle, the competition. We got to do bigger, better. We got to do it faster. We got to do it more. We got to do this and do that. Like that trickles down into into the boards and senior and the C-suite and the mid-level managers, trickle all the way down to this urgent need to get somewhere faster. So really it's the capitalism and consumerism part of our American culture that has us thinking that we haven't made it. And have the question that I posed to you today is, have you actually priced out the best version of your life? Like, how much money do you need to really be satisfied and have more than you need and be able to live? Like, we don't do that because we're always on autopilot. Like, we're just running in place on the treadmill, not on like on the road going somewhere. We're running in place on the treadmill of our life, day in, day out, work, day in, day out, work, year in, year out, year in, year out, until we are, you know, up in our, have this big age on us. And we're like, where did the time go? What do I have to show for it? Why am I still working at this pace? Do I need to still work at this pace? Where am I running to? Where have I made it? Most can be honest with ourselves and really take a hard look at our lives. We might already discover that we made it. And that may change the way you want to pace and slow down and realize that we are running fast and hard to nowhere. You must set your own criteria, not based on success, not even based on your family standards. And so that leaves me with our own internal cultural messaging, Black and brown cultural messaging that we have adapted from the American culture to try to keep up, to try to be equal, to try to be the same as as the predominant white culture. We set ourselves up. Now, our ancestors, our families, our grandfathers, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, they did the best they could with what they had. But now that we we know better and we can do better. We have a little bit more autonomy. It's time for us to unlearn some of those messagings that fit our lives for now. And some of those cultural messaging we've been telling ourselves, we've been hearing since we were smaller, we've been seeing since we were younger, and we think like that. So when I ask, if I'm in a coaching session or I'm in a workshop, I ask, what makes you think you don't, like, what's going on in your mind when you feel like you don't have time to stop and eat? And I timed myself. I had to stop and ask. I timed myself. How much you? How much time does it take for you to eat? It might be 15 minutes. Even if I prep or if I have to warm it up or eat and eat slowly, it might be 15 minutes. What happens in that 15 minutes that you can't come back to what you were working on and feed yourself, tend to your bodily needs, that you can't stop and tend to and come back to what was there? And it's always the thoughts. It's like, I never thought about that. So what are you thinking in our mind? We got to get this done. It's always a hurry, hurry, hurry. I gotta get this done. If I'm gonna forget it, like it's always a anxious filled moment where you're gonna forget something, or I gotta do this, or gotta answer these emails. I got so much. I got this. I have that, and we never stop. And if you think about it, it's probably because we were taught that idleness is bad. Like any sign of idleness or slowing down is bad. That you bet, like, why are you questioning leaving that job? It's a good job. Like, what's the real problem? Oh girl, that's just the way life is, or that's what they do. Just bear it out. And then once it hit me, I'm like, I can't do this until I'm 60. Like literally sitting my office first job. I can't do this till I'm 60. I barely can do it till next year. But that is a cultural messaging. Another one is that we have to work twice as hard to be seen. But to challenge this, do we have to work twice as hard or have better strategies to get there? Like, we don't have to burn ourselves out in order to show up and show and be effective. That's what I teach in the leadership or the strategies part of. There are strategies that you can put in that get you better result quicker and faster without burning yourself out. So it's not the work twice as hard. It's not staying longer. It's not coming to work earlier. It's not saying, yes, I'll take this project. I'll be on this committee. I'll do this. I'll do this just so you can show. And then they're still going to give it to the person who knocked on the door and say, hey, Mrs. So-and-so, I want to I want this job. They're still going to give it to their friend anyway. And so now you're tired, you're frustrated, and you haven't gotten anywhere. So that's twice as hard. We have to rethink that and say, be wiser, use the strategies that help us do something more effective without it really affecting us. The second one is you feel like you're being lazy. Even when you feel, even if you're scrolling, you might feel guilty when you're scrolling and you're just sitting, right? It's the tens, like I got dishes in the sink, or I need to wash, or I need to check this email, or I need to do something. That need to just do something is really rooted into our community not being seen as lazy. And we forget that we built this country. Right? So we can never be lazy because our works are everywhere, right? And so it's that thought of like Saturday mornings, you gotta wake up super early and clean and you gotta do this and you gotta, like, just that you should, I should tires us out. And if you one time question, do I what's what's gonna happen? This is one of the funniest things that I can relate to. We were in a car, me and my friends were like, you just need to go somewhere to run an errand, but then you have to like get dressed up head to toe and make sure you have on good underwear, which might take you an extra 30 minutes and delays your whole plan because your mom told you that you needed to make sure you have on good underwear just in case you get in a wreck. That's one of the things that may stop us, right? It's funny, but that's one of the cultural messagings that we have to always debunk. But it's the lazy is the actual trauma response. We don't want to be seen as lazy, right? And so we're always feeling like we have to do something. Um, Somehow along the way, ripping and running became a badge of honor. Hey, what you up to? Oh, nothing, man. I'm just, ripping and running, doing all these things. And I like we have to deprogram ourselves. I am always trying to challenge our thoughts of why am I doing this? Do like even just say, oh, I have to go grow every week, even on my scale down budget as I'm building my new. And so the so we have to so the three things that are burning us out. We don't have alignment, our jobs and our career, even our businesses. If you're an entrepreneur, you should have a business that aligns to you. I've always said before as a joke, I'm not going to sell a flat tummy tea because it just doesn't align just so I can make some money. I needed this business to be about me, which is easy. I can show up and talk. I don't have to be overly prepared because it's what I do. But if I'm going to sell anything other than what I'm passionate about, that's going to take way too much energy. The number two reason why we've been burnt out is we bought into the American dream that's even unachievable by white Americans. Nobody's able to buy a house in these days. Our salaries aren't keeping up with the pace. So what is the American dream really? It's really the fact that we need to come up with our own and making sure. The third is thinking about or unlearning some of the internal cultural messaging that comes from our family and our society that makes us so wound up and having this hustle culture. So those are the top three reasons. That is why any amount of self-care, the bubble baths, the massages, the teas, the meditations, that's great. I can tell you why we need that, but we have to change our minds first in order to slow down, structure our lives in order to get to that part first. It's really our thinking and how we have to unlearn some messaging that was embedded in us since our childhood. So video 4 is all about the myths, which I'll cover why all of these self-care hacks and things like that don't really work for us. And what we need to do to actually find some peace and stop the hustle and bustle that's burning us out and making us exhausted. So thank you so much for joining. Thank you. I will be back to you Tuesday and Wednesday because Wednesday is the day before Thanksgiving. Um, and I will be back next week with part 4, 5, and 6 of this series. And I hope you'll join me. If you missed any part, catch me on YouTube tonight at 7 as I will premiere the replay of this. I will be there to chat along with you. And so thank you. Thank you for joining. And I hope you have a wonderful day.